Hey, you guys. Thank you for tuning into the Social Avenue podcast. I'm your host, Sydney Encinas. And today we have a very special guest. Her name is Vanessa Romeo. She is the head coach of the UofA Cheerleaders. And today I am picking her brain about all things with tryouts, her team, what it takes to be on the team, and just her journey. It's incredible. She started off in cheerleading when she was a junior in high school with no prior background and tried out for the UofA Cheerleaders, made it, and is now the head coach. It's such an incredible story, and I'm really excited that you guys are here to watch it, and I hope that you guys enjoy it as much as I enjoyed having the conversation with her. So grab a coffee and listen up.
Everybody will hopefully just relax or something.
You're like, I will be the buffer.
Yeah,
yep.
Usually.
That's exactly,
that's
how I am.
Yeah.
You just fart and then nobody messes with you because like
no
the person
one.
who
What can they say?
You can't get me. I already got me.
That's the highest level.
That's the highest level. I farted and
literally
so
the highest
I win.
level.
I
Yep,
win
you win. Oh my God, that's so funny.
Nobody can make fun of me.
I love that.
Okay. Vanessa.
Hi.
Hi. You know what's so funny is when I asked you to be on my podcast, I was like, I think Vanessa may be a little bit too cool to be on my podcast.
I'm terrified.
You shouldn't be.
Not at all. I'm so excited. I feel really honored.
I feel really honored and really grateful that you took time to be here with me. Truly.
Easy to do.
I
for
love
you. So
I was thinking this morning, I was like,
already emotional.
I know.
We're not going to make it.
You know what? That was so stupid of me not to grab a box of tissues because I already know that we're going to be freaking crying. I was like, she asked me for a tissue and I was like, how's a paper towel? I'm sorry.
I said, it's thick. It'll get us through.
Yep.
So we'll be okay.
How did we go from the Red Raiders to
AYSO soccer?
AYSO soccer,
yep.
Which how old were you when we met? Do you even remember?
I think we were probably like 7, 8, 9-ish.
Yeah.
Probably like 2nd, 3rd grade. Mm-hmm. Long time ago. Red Raiders.
Red Raiders.
We caused a ruckus.
We sure did.
Yeah.
And your dad.
Oh, our dads.
Yeah.
Our dads were
my
helping.
dad coached
He was
that
around
too.
Yeah, he helped too.
Yeah.
So yeah, Pete, best coach ever.
Yep.
The first coach I ever had, and kind of my
awesome.
entire inspiration. So.
And then we played. I think we just played that season, a couple seasons together, and then we played soccer in high school together.
Great time.
A great time. Actually, like some of the best times.
It was probably one of my favorite years being on that team.
And you were my secret sister. I still have, dang it, I should have brought it. I still have that note that you wrote me for secret sister. Oh, you just have like the best handwriting. You should be a calligraphist.
I write like a nana.
No.
Honestly,
it's beautiful nana
my
handwriting.
Next job is just writing things
beautiful.
Pretty.
So you were playing soccer with me. It was your junior year. It was my sophomore year. And then all of a sudden, out of the blue, you said, I want to be a cheerleader.
Yep.
And you caused a ruckus. You caused a rift in the whole soccer. We were like, what?
Yeah, it seemed like it was like a kind of trembled.
It trembled. It shook us. Yeah.
And I think that, just to kind of go off of where it started, like never did cheer. Obviously, we were those kids that played soccer, not football. Whoa, back up.
Well, powder puff.
Actually, powder puff. And I
Hold on.
And I did well.
You did really good.
I was, you know me, I'm very aggressive, aggressive. But played like every other sport, and I just think like cheerleading was never something that I even thought about because I didn't understand how it was a sport. And I was totally that girl. I was like, what is cheer about? You guys just ruffle your pom-poms. So in student council, there was like a grip of cheerleaders in there. And they were like my friends, in Stuco. But they just kind of heard me talking about cheer not being a sport, and they kind of challenged me to try out.
They looked at you and they were like,
maybe you should try out.
Around.
Yeah. And I was like, well, maybe I will, kind of just out of just, if you're going to challenge me to something, I'm going to like take you up on it. Yeah. Did not know what it was going to be. And so ended up trying out, didn't know what the hell I was doing. They put me on the team because I think they had to because it's high school.
No, I don't know. You get cut. Like, don't do that to yourself.
It was a little rough though, not going to lie. I did not know my band dances all of football season that first year. I was in the back row, did not know what the hell was going on. I had a couple of buddies back there that like definitely helped me out. But it just kind of, I think for me, when I joined cheer, I realized how intimate of a sport it is. Like I had been on a lot of teams since I was 4 or 5 years old, and cheer for me was just so intimate that it drew me in. You have to really trust one another to put each other in the air, and so it takes like this whole other layer of like chemistry that it requires. Like time and time again with my own students, like when they're kind of off about something and there's some tension, like it just isn't going to work. So I just realized how close they were, and I like latched onto that. And I think, fast forward senior year, there was some talk about girls, maybe wanting to try out for U of A. And I was like, I don't even think that's an option. Like for me, I didn't have even the requirements at the time. It was like January of senior year. But I went to one of their clinics and I just thought, oh my gosh, this is in my own backyard. Like I have to try. Like probably isn't going to work out, but I was like, I'm just going to have to go for it. And started training.
What did that look like?
It was rough. I remember trying to throw backflips. I'd never done them before. I know that one of the boys on the cheer team at Cienega spotted me. God bless his soul, but I definitely fell on my head. And I thought, okay, I need to figure this out because I cannot fall on my head anymore. Yeah. But I think it scared me. To be honest, I went to tryouts not knowing at all what to expect. There was over 100 girls at that first tryout, and I just felt really underprepared.
Right. Well, I can only imagine.
And just being a senior in high school, because you try out as a senior in high school. So here I am on McHale Court, not knowing what the heck I signed up for. And that's where I really saw the collegiate level, what it looks like, what the girls look like, how they present themselves, and that it's really a total package, not just a skill. And so as the weekend went on, made it past cut one. First of all, I didn't even really tell my parents what I was doing because I was so nervous.
Really?
They knew what I was doing, but I don't really think it clicked for them what I was doing. I just I was like, if I don't make the team, this is going to be so embarrassing. I don't want people to know if I don't make this team. And so I remember I came home that first night after cut one and I was like, I made it past the first round. And they're like, cool, yeah, excited for me. But
they didn't get it. They still didn't get it. Well, because you probably also weren't laying it on them. How big of a deal it was.
Not at all.
Really was to you.
It was a big deal to me. And I think when I first showed up, I didn't realize how bad I wanted it until I really started going through and I started getting to know the coach and the team and just it started to become a reality that I think I really want this. And so day 2 came around and somehow made it past that second cut. And so that put me in that final round. And I remember I went home and we were eating dinner and I was like, Mom, Dad, I made it to the final round. And they were kind of wide-eyed. And then they started, I think at that moment, thinking this could maybe be a thing. And so they ended up coming to it's an open tryout. So they came the next day to McHale and I had my entire family. So it was just a gang of Romeos everywhere. And
gang of Romeos.
Not just them, but my mom's family, the Del Castillos were there. Nikki was there, my best friend from high school. And a group of friends were there. Miss Molina was there.
Oh my God.
So I had my little group of supporters. And I don't know how I made this team because I don't know if it was a good tryout or not, but they must have seen something in me. Yeah. I'm so grateful that they offered me an opportunity. It changed my whole life. But when that list was posted, I did not want to check it. My mom was like, I'm going to stay over here, Vanessa. I think she just didn't want me to be heartbroken if it didn't work out.
Mom, I love her so much.
So she was like, I'm going to stay over here. I'm like, okay. And I remember looking at that thing, just heart pounding and just being oh my gosh, my name is on it. And I just felt so incredibly honored in that moment. Yeah. And again, as a senior in high school, not knowing what it would be, where it would lead me, what it would teach me, who it would introduce me to, right? So just jumped in full force and, gave myself to that program. I'm so grateful. I'm getting emotional.
Yeah.
But I met my best friends, so we've been in weddings and we've had babies and, just all kinds of stuff. And so I'm just so grateful for what the program brought me. And here I am now,
head
coach of the program. It's the most work ever, but the best work ever. It's incredibly fulfilling, and it's a big responsibility, but I love what I do. And the opportunity that I get to work with these students that honestly, I work for them. They inspire me. They wake up every day for 6 a.m. practice and, maintain their grades and are just great kids. Sorry.
No.
I'm going to use this napkin.
Please. That's it. I'm getting a
No, it's because, I just, it's not easy. They're student athletes, but they're also, not on scholarship and they don't receive academic support currently. And so they, you know, have to work a little bit harder than some of their peers to, you know, be eligible and to have these opportunities. But I tell them all the time, like, you have learned how to do something without really getting a lot in return. That sounds terrible because, you know, the opportunities are great and the travel's amazing. But, you know, we obviously always want more. And so I just remind them, like, you know, you have to, like, what do you do this for? Because
what's your big why?
What's your big why? It is way too much work for it not to be super meaningful.
Yeah.
And so as I'm seeking people for my program, these are people to represent the university. It's the Tucson community. It's everyone and everything. And so we're like deep diving in. Yeah. You know, we just had tryouts a couple weeks ago. And, you know, the skills are kind of like a given. Like, you have to have the skills.
Yeah.
Then we're really comparing, you know, your interactions with others. And I'm just kind of like incognito, you know.
Sitting back and seeing who's
Day one, I don't
who.
judge. I don't judge the first, usually 2 days of tryouts. I have other alumni judges that are experts that I trust, that know what my expectations are for my team, my skills and everything. But I just kind of walk around and just feel out the vibe.
Do you feel like when you walk in, are people like scared of you? Do you feel like a kind of like a Miranda Priestley? Like, you're not a snot like that, but I'm just saying, like, no, you're not.
No.
But like, do you feel that energy? Like, they're like, oh my God, there she is. Like,
yeah,
like,
for sure.
That's so cool.
Yeah, and I like, sometimes I'm like, I'm little, you know what I mean? But I think
tiny
that
but mighty.
Hopefully, like,
with
that,
the brightest, whitest, straightest teeth.
Oh my
man.
gosh, stop.
Jeez, no, for real.
They're chipped. It's chipped right here.
You're just like, you just glow. You're so beautiful, dude.
Sydney.
No, you are. No,
I tried really hard for you today. You can ask my intern in my office what I looked like yesterday. Scrubbed out, like,
I've
you know.
seen you scrubbed out.
Yeah.
You're so beautiful.
No, I appreciate that.
It's just the whole story is like so crazy because you took such a leap. You said you had no background whatsoever. You didn't do gymnastics. You didn't do cheerleading, and you were a junior in high school when you were like, I'm gonna
just switch it
not
up.
be a soccer girl, and I'm gonna pivot. And I mean, you'll always be a soccer girl. We
100%,
always got you.
Yeah.
But you pivoted into a completely different world, and you dominated. And you did you get a scholarship to the U of A? Like, how did that work? How do you just made the team? You made the team,
and you have to make the team every year.
Dang. Mm-hmm. So for 4 years, you tried out and made it.
Yep.
And now you're the head coach. It just is wild to me because I feel like with so many sports, it's like, oh, so-and-so played or did that since they were 6 or since they were 3 or, you know, whatever. Sure. And you felt that intuitive feeling to like go for it.
Yeah.
Even though people around you were like,
what are you doing?
What are you doing?
I remember being nervous to even tell my dad because obviously being like my first soccer coach and first coach, but like I'm still his baby girl. So I knew he was going to support me, but I remember being like, Dad, I'm going to try out for cheer. And the first thing he said to me, he said, so you're going to be at the football games, right? So we can go and watch the football games? And I was like, sold.
Yes, okay, you know? We got him on board.
But honestly, my dad is like, he knows cheer lingo. Like, he has learned it over time.
Sure.
My mom's still wondering if the football game's inside or outside and what she should wear. But my dad is like, the thing in the air with the one leg, the lib. I'm like, yes, Dad,
That's
yes.
right, Dad.
So, like, he kind of, you know, but they're my number one fans. They have season tickets. They come to everything. I would not be able to do it without them. Like, I think that, you know, I try to, them being around is really important to me because I think as I get older, like, I just want to hang out with them a lot.
Yeah.
You know, not that we weren't close growing up, but I feel like as we've gotten older, that relationship has grown a little bit more. And so for them to be able to support me on a daily basis, to come and see what I do, my students now love my parents. You know, we've hosted Christmas party at our house and like, they just, so you know, they're respectful, go up every single time, how you doing? You know, and say hi to them. And it just means a lot to me that they also see the relationship that I have with my parents because a lot of them are far away from home. And, you know, sometimes their parents don't know how they're doing over here when they're miles and miles away. And so I like for them to see, like, you could be 35 and still, like, need your mom and dad and still want them to be around. And so, you know, I try to, like, just, like, be comfortable with the people that are around me and let them see that, like, you can still want that support and be far away from home and still have that relationship with parents. So, you know, they're my number one fans. They're everything for me. So, you know, yeah, I just love them. They're so silly.
I love that.
They're so goofy.
Oh yeah, no.
I mean, you see them.
Yeah, I love them. Every time I'm around them, I'm just like
they're just they're just themselves. They're just authentically themselves, and it works for them. And I'm just
You're like
grateful.
the perfect combo of them both.
I'm like crazy like my mom, but like very meticulous like my dad, and like very regimented. So hopefully the best of both worlds. I'm very emotional like my mom.
Yeah, that's a good skill. I love that.
So no, they're the best. That. Yeah,
do you feel like your time teaching, because you didn't go straight into being a coach after college. Sure. You were a high school teacher. Yes. And do you feel like a lot of the skills that you gained doing that kind of transferred into being a full-time coach?
Absolutely. I feel like it is the best training that I could have had. Any of my students can tell you, like, I run my team like a classroom, like the structure of it, the way that I just, the expectations are very high of my team. So if there's a deadline, you need to meet it. If there are things that I need from you, you need to do that. If you say you're going to be somewhere, you need to be there and you need to be ready to go. Like, so I feel like those kind of, the classroom management is prepped me. I think everything I've done thus far, working even for GCU, because I did that before.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. Oh my God.
So it kind of went like college, Cienega to teach and coach. That's where I started my coaching career, 2012, and then went and moved up to Phoenix and worked for GCU, and that showed me a whole other set of skills. And so I just feel like everything I've done just kind of like the building blocks for me to be an organized coach. Coaching is all about organization and the way that you organize people. And the way that you, like, if I'm unorganized, there's no way that they're going to be able to do what they need to do. So I would say the other piece of that is, like, our students don't receive academic support. So I tell them, like, if you're going to be on this team, I need to be in your business. I'm going to be.
Which, like, I didn't know that. So, because you've mentioned that twice now. So are you saying that cheerleaders don't get scholarships?
They don't. What you're saying? They're not on scholarship, correct. And then they also don't currently receive like tutoring services from the athletic department, although they go and seek out their resources elsewhere, like on campus, but through the athletic department, they don't have those resources yet. And so,
like, whereas a football player gets,
like they would have like a tutor and have set study sessions through the athletic department. So we just don't get those things through athletic department. We're a non-competitive program. So we also.
Oh, you guys don't have cheer competitions?
No, we've never been a competitive program. So we're strictly just support game day and the university. So there's a couple of things there, right? That, that's kind of where we're at the moment. Obviously, always fighting for more. Right. So it's a conversation, and it's a little bit deeper than that. So I think that I'm like, the right people are.
That's lighting a fire in me. I'm like, what?
I think that people are starting to like learn a little bit weird. More. But again, like it's something that there's so many other perks that they receive that it's worth it for us to do that. And so while we, of course, as their coach, I'm always going to want more and more and the most for them, but. So I have to make sure that my students are eligible. And if they're not eligible, they can't cheer for me. And I depend on every single person. So we do our own like grade checks and stuff. They've got to come in, fill out this reflection sheet of how they're doing, show me their grades, and like actually work through it with me so that I can ensure,
you basically are a teacher
it has to be.
Coach. That's
it has to be that way. And so the students, I know, like they get a little nervous, like scared to show you the sheet, but at the same time, it's like, all right, buddy, so what are we doing in the next 2 months? Like before the semester ends, and then let's meet every week.
But that's amazing because you kind of lose that in college.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like that's more
you do.
That's more prevalent in high school. And
for
when you
sure.
get to college, you're sort of like on your own.
Yes.
So it's a blessing that they get you.
Well,
you know what I mean?
That.
No, that's true.
Yeah, I just want them to feel supported in all the ways and someone to hold them accountable, because I feel like, to be honest, like I tell my students all the time, I did not do well freshman year of college. Damn near I didn't even know if I was gonna make it. Like cheer, I think like saved my life kind of thing. Like it kept me motivated, but I think that's why I'm so kind of in their business when it comes to that, because I kind of slipped away a little bit. And in college, it's easy to do.
Yep.
You're like, what's my grade all semester? And then you get to December, you're like, oh gosh, that was my grade the whole time. So, you know what I mean? It's something that I'm just like, I'm not going to let you get to that point. You're going to have to show me a piece of paper. And if you don't like what it says, then you better have something else on that piece of paper. And it's just that layer of accountability, you know?
Well, and speaking about, keeping everybody regimented and holding them accountable and just sort of being that way, how does the tryout process to become a U of A cheerleader, how does that go?
It's pretty intensive.
Talk a bit about that.
It's pretty intensive. We actually just had it about a couple weeks ago. Typically, it's a 3-day process. We trimmed it down to 2 days this year just because of facilities and Easter and stuff. But typically, like, there's an application process, and I tell everybody that step 1 is the way that you apply. Are you, like, it's got to be timely. It's got to be complete, because that's showing me that you're going to be able to be a collegiate student athlete if you can do the application process. For me, that's step 1. If parents are emailing me at the collegiate level, not a good look. So just some advice for everyone wanting to try out for Arizona
Don't be
Cheer.
asking your mom.
I love that your parents want to be involved. I think their support is incredibly important, but reaching out first as the student athlete wanting to try out was very important for me and kind of the first impression.
Okay.
So that's step 1.
Okay. That's really cool.
Very particular. So obviously you can't try out if not everything's turned in on time, but kind of the next phase of that is we have multiple rounds. So this year, our day 1, you came in and all of our female flyers have to tumble. They have to flip. It's a requirement. They're very specific requirements. So we just kind of go through the line one by one, audition style.
Oh, that is
with
so
a little
nerve-wracking.
panel of judges in front of everybody. It's an open tryout. So it's just kind of like 5 at a time, 1 skill each, just rolling through skills. So we kind of do those things. We also have a musical freestyle portion because cheerleaders sometimes don't have rhythm.
Yeah, you're
and
like,
that
I
is
need to know
not
you can
acceptable at this level. If we can't do the step, clap, on the beat, then we need to work. I'll work with
You're out of there.
Be like, maybe next year. Oh gosh, this sounds so cutthroat. I'm sorry, but
No. No, this is good information.
Whoa, no, it is. I just want people to know. Like, I like people to know exactly what they need to do.
Yep.
I don't like secrets and surprises. Just this is what the expectation is. That packet. If you don't read it, you're not going to know what it is. But if you read it, you're going to know exactly the information packet what we're doing. So should not show up not knowing what we're doing. So one by one, they've got to do their little musical freestyle. Then we made a cut. So it's kind of aggressive, but we, cut down a few and post that list and move you on to the second round, which is a fitness evaluation. It's pretty intense.
It's like PT.
PT, but like
So
times 5.
Okay, tell me. Oh, I love things like this.
So the fitness evaluation for the females.
I want to be evaluated.
Okay, yeah. No, next time I'm going to bring you. Next time I'm going to bring you. And
oh my God.
it's open. You can come. Please come next time.
No,
Yeah.
Vanessa, shut up. No, I would. I will.
You can be a guest judge from the community.
No,
right.
seriously?
No.
If that's for real?
No, it is a real thing.
No, I will.
Okay, yay!
Okay.
We have a judge for next year. So pretty much it's some kind of like max push-ups, max sit-ups. Like that's like.
Is there a number you guys are looking for?
Our girls push the envelope. I mean, we had, I want to say, in 60 seconds, I think our max was maybe 51 push-ups for the girls.
In 60 seconds?
Yeah.
Are you like chest to the floor?
Yeah, so it's very strict.
Yeah.
We have like plate, fist, got to touch the fist. It's led by our we have a strength coach that works with us in McHale. Shout out Nick, you're the best. We love you, guy. But he actually leads that whole process. So he, we have counters, it's very, very strict. We have timers. So we do, so push-ups, max sit-ups with the plate. The girls do gassers, so pretty much sprints, shuttles. And then the hardest part for the females is there's 4 rounds of 20 seconds and as many back tucks as you can in 4 rounds of 20 seconds. So that part is the killer.
Okay.
Yeah. That one separates the girls from the women. The women from the girls, So
You did that?
I don't think I did that when I was on the team, and thank God.
Okay, I was going to say, how much different is the tryout process from when you did it to now? Does it always evolve, like every year? Are you like, let's have this? It generally
stays. So I always I would say in some ways it seemed more difficult. In some ways it seemed more easy. Like that fitness evaluation, we didn't have those tucks, but we had other. Like, I think we did back tucks in the sand. I don't remember.
Oh, my gosh.
So, like, it was still difficult. But yeah, but it is actually like super similar. We've kept our requirements pretty standard across the board, so those don't change too much. We've added a couple elements like the musical freestyle element with the girls, because sometimes we dance with our palm line, which is our beautiful, incredible dance team. And I'm like, you guys need to blend. Like, go over there. you need to blend. So that's why we really like have pushed the envelope with the dancing and stuff, because, you know, I want them to feel good out there, like not held back on game day and not like, oh gosh, this song came on and what do I do with this song? Yeah, woo! Like none of that. Like some specific motion. So, you know, but yeah, so the fitness evaluation is pretty tough.
That's cutthroat. And so then you cut everybody after that.
We do that. We do usually like another kind of skills cut. So we do 2 cuts before the final. So pretty much once you make it to the final round, we teach you the fight song. We teach you a sideline dance. We teach you a cheer within like probably 20 minutes. We give you an open practice for a bit to work on your stunts with your partner. And then you come back the next day.
And you want to see how they learned it and how
for sure. So obviously learning material quickly is good, but sometimes it takes people a little bit too. So we teach it very fast. It's a little frustrating. I could see like they're like, it's 20 minutes. We just learned 3 different things, but we give them the rest of the night, and the girls are always awesome. They all learn their stuff. The boys, sometimes they need to work on their emotions a little bit. They're counting the whole time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
You're 6, like counting in your head.
Yeah,
not on
please shut your mouth. No, they're cute. Love them. They work and try really hard. But the next day starts with interviews. Probably
like this,
the
like
most important thing.
Okay.
So we moved into Roberta, who used to be our advisor for many, many years. She always had this idea of like doing a group panel like the Dallas Cowboys cheerleaders. Have you ever seen like their interview panel? So it's like in a small group. So instead of doing one-on-ones, we started doing groups of like 3. And then with our judges panel, that way they kind of like have a buddy. So like 3 candidates.
Okay, yes. Okay, I thought you meant 3 of you guys against 1. I'm like, oh my God, that's even
It's
scarier.
like 7 of us against 3. There's like 7 judges and like usually like 3 candidates. So we started doing this kind of like, we kind of each asked them different questions, but we started doing it because I feel it brings like the stress level down. Okay. And I feel like also it was to keep everyone on their toes. Like my returners, I don't want them to think that I just know them in the interview, right? So if there's a new person in there, they're kind of selling themselves and they're giving a lot. And so if my returners are like holding back and think that they're good. So I kind of like to like put them in a certain, you know, it's a tryout for them still. And I want them to feel like the heat. So I kind of mix it up that way. They're put in a situation they haven't been in yet, usually. But it's good. It kind of regulates people. And it's like, oh man, they're giving a lot. I need to give a little bit more. And then you start to learn. And so it kind of draws it out. But interviews are like my favorite part because it also separates people that are really, really committed to Arizona and cheering at the U of A and like, will do anything for the opportunity, and people that are just there because they just thought, why not? Like at this level, it needs to be a lot more than I like to do cheerleading and I really want to cheer in college. Like that's not enough of an excuse or a reason to want to do this. It's got to be like, you know, I feel like I can make an impact. Like, what does that look like? So we're asking you like reflective, very introspective questions just to see like, how do you think people perceive you? What do you think your role is? Like, what's your purpose? What do people come to you for? What do they lean on you for? And like really seeing, are you like a good human? Like, what's your character kind of?
What has impressed you the most in an interview before? Like, or even in the tryouts, just in general, is there anything that kind of just has stuck with you that you're like, wow, I was really impressed by that person. They said this or they did that.
Yeah. I mean, I think that I'm always really impressed in the interview. And I think it's like a twofold thing because for my returners, it's people that I know and I've been working with for maybe a year, 2 or 3, right? And so, but I always feel like I learned something new about them.
That's cool.
And it's always fun because a lot of times they reflect on their experience that previous year. And so I also learned things where it's like, I had no idea that you were struggling with that. And it's amazing that you were able to overcome that. And wow, you put out that fire on your own. I had no idea that happened. So it really shows me their maturity and their growth. And then for the new people, you know, sometimes we have 1 or 2 that just go completely above and beyond. And I'm like, yes, I need you. I need you. Like what you just said speaks really deeply to me and you're going to be great out there. And when you're at an event and you've got kids around you and you've got, you know, the city of Tucson around you. Like, you're going to be a good representation, and you're going to be fun, and you're just going to like be that person that they can like go to or come to and feel comfortable to ask for a photo, you know?
So that is probably one of the biggest things. Like, obviously you have to have the look, you have to have the skills, you have to, you know, be
those
the
are
full
givens
package.
Almost.
But the thing that really stands out to you is somebody whose character is in alignment with the way that you believe a community leader should be.
Absolutely. Okay. And I feel like with cheer, like we are like representatives, and I feel like, you know, there's like a super high expectation that comes with that, and like that you can't make mistakes, that things can't go wrong. And I think that, you know, that's like part of what I do as a coach is like manage that internally with my team, because they have very high expectations for themselves. I mean, they're like a bunch of like, I mean, we're very similar, right?
I was gonna say, it's a bunch
we're
of
like
yous.
a bunch of Vanessa's, like type A, like very, you know, but like,
you know, you have to be, you're responsible for so much. Like you said, it's like, I've really got to be on top of my,
I got to be on my shit.
Everything, my strength training, my diet, my everything, because I'm throwing people up in the air, or I'm being thrown up in the air. You've got to have each other's back in a different way. Yeah. Which kind of pivots me into my next question, which is there a specific diet, or like, obviously there's a workout.
Yes.
But how does all of that?
Yeah. So cheer obviously is like something where like a body image can be a good thing. I mean, it can be so many things. And that was actually another thing that I wanted to, so we can kind of tie both of them together, is like, how are you mentoring these young people through, and into like a positive body image, even though cheerleading can be very like body focused. Absolutely.
Do you know what I mean?
Totally.
How are you doing
totally
that?
Know what
how
you mean.
Are we having the diet conversation, the workout conversation, just sort of all of that?
So I guess I would say in general, like my team, like they do like to work out because they see the benefits of them being physically fit for their sport. When we cheer a football game, we were there 6 hours before the game started. So
oh my God.
They have to if you don't, we work out. It is mandatory for our team. We work out in McHale with our strength coach, Nick. It's a mandatory 2 days a week. And they're able to go in there if they want to more, but a lot of them do, because they do see the pros of that and being able to get through a 10-12 hour day. I would say between myself and Nick, we also have access to our Castor Medical Center, and we have our athletic trainer, Jesse, that we work with. And I would say we have a support system that if we feel like someone is fatigued, if we feel like someone is maybe dipping a little bit underweight or something like that, like we can support that, and we kind of can come together to support that student. It's something that I really just try to boost their confidence. Like, it's just constantly trying to be like, you know, they're obviously going to be worried about the way that they look, as we all do. But, you know, if I ever hear a little bit here and there, I'm like, cut it out. Like, I just am very nip it in the bud, you know, and just trying to build them up. And I would say my girls are very sweet and very like, I don't know how to put this, but I think they're pretty humble. I would like to think that my girls are pretty humble, but they still have their moments where they're not feeling good. And so it's just a lot of one-on-one conversation. Sometimes I have to have hard talks with them. And sometimes they're painful for me and they're emotional for me, but it's also something where, hey, you know, I'm a little bit worried about this. Like, and I'm just a direct type of person. You have to be. And just what's going on. And sometimes it's just someone noticing something for them to kind of open that door to be like, you noticed, you know? And so it's, again, and it's not just a girl thing. My program is co-ed. We are half girls, half boys. And so the boys deal with something completely different, where people are like, cheers gay and this and that. And they deal with people calling them terrible names at games. So it's something of just like constantly, you know, getting them cool Nike gear, making sure they feel good in their uniform, building them up, getting the vibes, music going, and just kind of like reminding them like who they are. Like, you are a UofA cheerleader. Forget everything else. Forget your insecurities. Forget your tests. Forget everything else. But like, you're on this team for a reason. I wanted you here. Like, then let's show them what's up. Like, we have to have like that, even for me, I have days where I look in the mirror, I'm like, ooh, what's going on today? Yeah. But it's like, we have to keep moving forward and supporting one another. And so, yeah, I think a lot of it is just not being afraid to have hard conversations. Hopefully I have that trust built within each person that they are typically, it's a little bit nerve-wracking, but are pretty open when we have to have those tough conversations. So I appreciate that my students have that open mentality because it's coachable, it's easy to work with. And so you have to kind of let your guard down, and be kind of subject to myself or even Courtney, my assistant, coming in and saying, hey, what's going on? Or us saying, hey, do we need to seek other, support on this? So it really is just, it's building them up and being like, you look good, shut up. Yeah. And like, you look great. Like, you're absolutely gorgeous. I don't want to hear it anymore,
Do you think too, though, it's more with something like cheerleading, you have to be able to perform. So your body has to be ready for performance. And as a result of being able to perform, the aesthetics just naturally are there. It's not you're not working out for aesthetics, you're working out for performance. And as a result of being able to perform, the aesthetics are there.
For sure. Okay. Exactly. And that's kind of, I think with, especially at this level, like at the collegiate level with like it's very demanding of their body. Like, I mean, even now I'm like, is my wrist okay?
Like mobility, things that you're not like,
I mean, there are things that, but being physically fit is something that is for safety. I mean, we have boys throwing girls in the air. So if their shoulders aren't strong, if they can't do what they need to do, when we have a bad situation. So it's more so for me, a lot more about their physical abilities and their strength and the endurance and things that they need to maintain to get through sometimes 3 or 4 games a week. So it's tough and demanding on their bodies, and I think it just kind of comes with the rest of it. But I mean, it's always cute because when our rookies start, we have very intensive training camp in July. It's like a month before starts. It's like 3 days pretty much with me. They get to see me all day.
I love it.
Ew, that was a booger, I think, that just flew out, but it's
I'm like, got caught in.
Salty.
I didn't see
okay,
anything.
Good. No, but it's funny because I feel like when our rookies come out, they don't really know, like, I feel bad because they don't really know what they're getting themselves into, and they show up and they're like, lady is crazy.
Has anybody thrown up?
Oh yeah. That's
Do they keep going, or are they like?
They keep going. No.
They do.
Yeah, they're troopers. Yeah, it does happen. We do flag running in the summer. I mean, they have to be ready to run flags.
Yeah,
so
they. Oh yeah.
Yeah,
How
boys Wilbur. They're pretty heavy. They're pretty large. Wilbur has to run the big. I have waved one of them,
but
away. I am not literally. I would. Oh jeez, I just moved this whole thing.
That's okay.
I can't really get it off the ground. So shout out boys for doing that.
I can't even imagine you just running with that big old pole.
No way. Yeah, right. I would tangle myself up in it. But yeah, so it's just funny though because I feel like when the rookies start in training camp, they don't really know that their body's gonna change. Yeah. Then they're starting to actually work out hard, and they're still like, oh, I kind of like these muscles, So then they kind of like what they see in the results, and then it all kind of comes together. So, but yeah, I mean, we sometimes have to have hard talks, and I think on those long days, just making sure like that my team is fed, like that little salad is not going to be enough to hold you over.
Right.
So
who does your guys, is there a nutritionist for your team, or is it Nick?
We don't have a nutritionist. Okay. We could have access to, like, if the students really needed it, we could have access to them through Campus Health. We currently don't have like a team nutrition, but honestly, athletics is so good to us. Like if we needed anything, they would figure it out for us and get us the support that we need. And so I think it's more so just like all of the people that are supporting our team, like just making sure, like, are you does it look like you're maintaining your weight? Does it look like you're dipping down? Do you look fatigued? Those are the things that I'm looking for. And then,
that's cool because it gives them freedom. You're not like, you have to eat this way. Mm-mm. It's just kind of like, hey, know what fuels you and makes you feel good.
Yep.
And if you don't eat it, we're going to be able to tell.
Yep. Well, I mean, sometimes it happens all the time. Coach, middle of a game, somebody's feeling like crap. And I'm like, what'd you eat today? Uh-huh. That is not going to cut it, And sometimes it's just, it happens. Coach, I wasn't feeling good this morning. I just didn't feel good, all the things. Yeah. And it's just, it does happen. But sometimes it's just like, what'd you eat today? Well, that's not going to be enough to get you through a day. So we need to do better, And just having those like transparent conversations of like, that's not going to cut it. But yeah, so... They just need to sometimes have better habits. Uh-huh. And sometimes it's me just asking, what are your habits?
Yeah.
How much are you eating throughout the day? If you're feeling like at 2 p.m. you're can't get through, like you have a long day, you started at 6:00. So that means we need to do better things to make sure that you're feeling good throughout the day, and just trying to teach them those, what they need to do. But I would say they're all pretty like good about it. The girls eat a lot better than I do.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're cuties. They I think that they also know, like, if they eat terribly, it obviously, like fast food, things like that aren't going to sit well when you have a whole game. So eating things that are clean and good for them.
Nobody wants the bubble guts.
No one wants the bubble guts
thrown up in there.
No one wants or needs that. That would be absolutely terrible. So they also know, like, as you get older, you realize what you do or don't do is a direct correlation of like
Correct.
what is or isn't going to happen.
That's right.
So like if you put in, I tell them like, if you put in work into something, or if you really want to gain weight, because, or if you really want to lose weight, whatever it is, like whatever your goals are, because our boys sometimes are trying to put on weight, then like, what do you need to do that? Let's research it. Let's ask for help. Let's ask a Nick. Let's, and just use the resources that we have, because there's a lot of people that want to support our team.
Yeah.
So.
And so when they do make the team, are there any weird or like special rules that the cheerleaders have to follow? Or
well, I would say like the weirdest one is just like nail color.
Really?
Yeah. So
well, I
obviously,
guess that would make sense. Like if they're out there and they have like purple, you probably can do like purple nails.
No. So we kind of keep it like red, like French tip, or like just like a nude white, or even like sometimes a navy is kind of brought out and it looks really good. Ooh. But other than that, it's kind of, when you're in season, we try to keep it to that way, just always, and they don't just have games, they have events that they go to throughout the week. Yeah. So, just kind of, that's part of the full package. But like for game days, they have certain things that they've got to have their A sticker. They have certain lipstick. They have a certain lip color from MAC that they use.
Dang. Is it Ruby Woo?
It's not. I'm trying to think of.
That's too deep.
Dubonnet, maybe? No, we changed it. Maybe it's Ruby.
Is it Ruby Woo? That's like a matte.
I think it. Gosh, this is terrible. How do I not remember?
They're like, which lipstick? You're like,
you know what? Because I feel like when we changed it a little bit, and I think I had them wear it Cienega deeper one. Maybe it is that.
It's
this is terrible. Sorry, everybody. I don't remember the lip color.
Someone's like writing notes. They're like, damn it.
I should know this.
She doesn't know it. No.
But yeah, so they've got to wear that. And then the other thing we started doing a couple years ago, because like, I don't know about you, but I will not leave my house without earrings. Like, I will turn back around.
I feel so naked. So I've shown up to the salon before with no earrings, and I'm like, oh.
No, I will literally be late to work. I'm turning around.
Literally be late to work.
Putting those earrings on. I started keeping a pair in my backpack because
that's smart.
and I
have some in my gym bag too.
Yes, see? So, but the girls are feeling really naked because they can't obviously wear jewelry because it's dangerous while they're stunting.
None at all.
No, because
nothing on the
boys
ears, nothing
catch
on the
them.
neck.
So these things can be. These can get ripped out really easy. So we started doing like little like rhinestone sticky stickers, and then gluing them with nail glue and sticking them to their ears, and they look beautiful because in pictures you can kind of see like a little glimpse of them.
That is so
the
smart.
Dance team they can wear like actual earrings, so they look really similar to the palm lines, but just like stickers.
How does the nail glue do when you take it off of the?
It's a little gross, but
it's a little gross,
but
like what are those? Those ears are crusty.
They're a little crusty, but but it just makes them feel like a girl.
They got
like,
a little something.
You got to have a little something. I wouldn't be able to do it. So yeah, little things like that. Their bow, they have a lot of it is stuff that they receive. But I mean, I think that the girls are pretty good about like some of them are really good at hair and makeup. So they kind of like help the other girls and kind of teach. And we have like kind of a little bit of everything on the team, but they're all super sweet. They share everything. They're just like kind.
And well, okay, so that's great that your team is like that. Have you ever run into cattiness? Before I can even finish? Yes. Yeah. What do you do? How do you mitigate it, number one, and then also when it does happen, how are you handling? I know you're a very direct person. But
and that's the exact way that I manage that. But I would say like it's funny because I have a team of boys and girls, and sometimes love you boys, but sometimes my boys are a little more high maintenance than my girls.
Thank you. I always say boys are way
more
dramatic,
hilarious,
way more cattier than women.
And I tell them this, like they're just sometimes, they're just funny, But I would say it does come up. What is really interesting about our team is we have a lot of different dynamics. We have brothers and sisters. I have 2 sets of twins on my team, not one but 2. I had a third brother and sister sibling set, but one of them is graduating this year. So I had 3 sets of siblings this year.
Oh my gosh.
And also some relationships, which is different.
Okay.
We have one that started like in high school and one that was more recent. And so that's a whole other dynamic. Most of my team also like lives together. So there's a lot of weird dynamics.
They come to practice with already issues.
Sometimes
bring it to
like,
practice.
And there's been times where I'm like, they'll be arguing about, you are not talking about who needs to wash the dishes right now. We're not talking about who needs to take out the trash. I'm worried. It's 6:00 in the morning. We need to get you guys moving. But like sometimes those things are going to spill in. It's just part of it. And so I think it's just something where between like Courtney and myself, we're just very like, what's going on? That we can't have that, and then, just a lot of it just nipping in the bud when we see it. But sometimes things fester, they grow. There are things that maybe I don't know about or things that happened outside of cheer with the team. And like I had mentioned earlier, like things do spill into the sport then. Mm-hmm. And when there's tension, a stunt isn't going to work, and then they start to get frustrated with each other, and then it becomes something that it doesn't need to be. And so, like, I'll be honest, this past year, about September, October, I feel like the team was kind of in a little bit of a rough spot of just like the dynamic it was taking a little bit longer for it to work itself out. Yeah. And so I was like, we're going to have one-on-ones, and I'm just going to directly ask questions and find out the things that I need to know and just kind of nip them in the bud, and there was some talks with tears and just things of like, it's hard to tell someone, hey, like this is kind of what you're doing right now. I don't know if you see it, but this is how it's making people feel. Like that's really hard to hear.
It is hard to hear. It's a blast to the ego.
It is. And like it's hard because I love and adore my kids so much, but like sometimes I have to be like that mirror for them. If they're going through something, sometimes when you're feeling a certain way, you don't realize what's going on around you or how you're affecting others. And so had to have some really hard talks and just be like, hey, I don't think this is who you are at the core. Like, I don't think this is the person. So let's just take a step back. Let's like really nail down, like, where does this come from? Let's find the origin of it and then try to peel back the layers. But, had talks with all 22 of them, and I feel like just having those conversations, things being said out loud, like it helped us move forward a little bit. Mm-hmm. Obviously, a team is always a work in progress, and you have to show up for them every day. And if you hurt somebody's feelings, I say, just go tell them, hey, I'm sorry, man. I was frustrated with you. We can move on from that. But, so just trying to teach them healthy confrontation and how to communicate with the people that I know that they love and care about. And we can't let these other things flood and cloud what we work on every day. Like we can't let those things win, Man,
so it really is so lucky. It's such a blessing that they have somebody like you as a coach with such a good background in like how to figure out and navigate hard things. Yeah. But also like you genuinely care about people, and you can see. I mean, ever since I've known you, you've just been that way.
I appreciate that.
You're always like in a career where you're helping somebody or you're pumping somebody up or you're
I love
helping them navigate getting better in like some way.
Yeah.
And that's just you at your core. That is like the purpose that God has had for you. And you just
I love that. I love building people up.
Live it. I know, and it's true. And every time I'm around you, I'm like, wow, I feel like my cup is just my cup runneth over.
I love that.
I feel so
no, that means a lot
up,
to me. That means a lot to me. I just want people to feel like I think all the things that I've done in my life, like jumping from like soccer to cheer, and then like, I went to school to be a teacher, and then all of a sudden I'm like, I'm going to switch it up. I'm just going to move to GC and do something unrelated, like just constantly changing what I'm doing. But I think for me, it's like, there's no reason why somebody can't do something. Like if you want a new car, you can go get a new car. If you want to do anything, if you want to go to school, if you want a certain job, like I'm not going to be the head cheer coach of the U of A for forever. There's going to be a time where I'm going to move on from it or, and I don't know what the next step is. And I'm kind of like not too concerned about that. I used to be really worried about what's next, but now I'm just like, I just, whatever happens, whatever comes, I'm just kind of like, I'm ready for that.
What a peaceful
like it's
feeling.
Scary, whenever or whatever that is. But I feel like, I used to be so like rigid in my like plan, and that's good in a way, and that's what I try to teach my cheerleaders. Like, I know you have this plan, and I want you to do all the things to see if it works out, but also I need you to be okay if it does not go according to plan. Let's not let it break us down completely. Let's just pivot, and just trying to teach them how to manage, like, and that stress, or manage those new challenges, and like, I'm like, whatever comes. Like, I don't care if I don't care if I'm bartending. I don't even care. It's just something where, like, I want to see where my life leads me, and like, whatever makes me happy. I don't even know what that is. You know what I mean? Like, it's so many things, but I just want people to feel like they can do anything, kind of. And like, if you want it that bad, you can work on it. Someone will support you through that. And I just try to like help people feel like someone's in their corner, you know? Like, I feel like they're kind of are a little scared of me sometimes, but also in those moments where they need me, I'm like, you know, the door's open. You know that I'm going to, you know, you can lean on me, cry to me, I'll cry with you. You know, and just so they feel like someone's there, you know, for them. So,
dude, I cannot wait to see what comes next for you. I'm
no
thrilled
idea.
to be watching what you're doing now. And thank you so much for taking time to be here on my podcast and let me ask you all these questions and dig into what you're passionate about right now. And I'm just so honored that you're here. So thank you for taking the time.
Thank you for having me.
Yes.
So sweet. My just friend that I'm so proud of, and it's encouraging for me too. So
thank you,
look
Vanessa.
at us go.
Look at us
Little
go.
Rita Rat girls. Rita Rat. Rita Rat.